and welcome to another edition of Addition. I'm your host, Addy Snowden, product manager at Google and quantum life coach, helping you jump into the reality of your dreams. You can click on the QR code if you are watching me on any of the live streaming platforms that I stream on, or you can go ahead and go to calendly.com/editionpod if you want to book with me. I help people jump into the reality of their dreams where they're happier, healthier, and wealthier. So before I get into today's episode, first of all, we hit 80 episodes. This is the 80th episode of Edition. Go ahead. I'm going to pat myself on the back, give me a virtual round of applause. Go ahead and like, comment, follow, subscribe. Honestly, if you've been listening to me for 80 episodes now and you haven't left me a review on iTunes or Spotify, wherever you're listening to me on, if you're on TikTok, go ahead and comment on a video and comment 80 episodes, because 80 episodes is a huge accomplishment and we got to celebrate every win along the way. Okay, so I have a great episode this week. We're talking about seeing is believing, how to use visualization to achieve your goals. I have a jam-packed episode for today. And as you know, we have a new segment called the Celebrity Quantum Jump example. I have a great Celebrity Quantum Jump. We're continuing with the 15 commitments of conscious leadership. Commitment 11, sourcing, approval, control, and security. So we're going to talk about that. And of course, what I'm geeked out about this week, which is actually super, super exciting because it's about the show. And I can't wait to share those news. So stay until the end. I got a full episode for you today. And let's start with the Celebrity Quantum Jump example of the week. Okay, so I'm going to do my screen share. I finally figured out how to screen share again. So if you are watching, if you're watching on a streaming platform, you can see I have added a photo of Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels' Dumb and Dumber movie poster. There's a photo of Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels being comedians. If you don't know who Jim Carrey is, he is a comedian, a very financially successful comedian. And so that's why he's a Celebrity Quantum Jump example of the week. So he has a lot of movies. Go check him out. Very successful man. So Jim Carrey was struggling to make it in the Hollywood industry. And some of you guys know this story. This was actually my very first example of manifestation that I had heard in the media. This may have been Jim Carrey's story was my first example of using manifestation to achieve your goals. So he wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and he achieved that goal with his role in Dumb and Dumber, which is why I have Dumber and Dumber on display. So he decided that he was going to jump into a reality where he was making $10 million for acting. He was struggling. He had financial struggles. His family, he grew up living in a van. Like, this guy does not come from wealth, but he understood that if he believed that if he wrote down on paper a check for $10 million for acting, that would help him get closer to his goal. And it worked. He jumped into a reality where he makes $10 million for a movie, and he's one of the highest earning comedians of all times. And so this episode's about visualization, and a check is one form of how you can use visualization to manifest your goals. I have so many checks written out from the bank of abundance to myself for doing whatever goal that I want to achieve and get that financial benefit for. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about seeing is believing, how to use visualization to achieve your goals. So what is visualization? So you guys may have heard the story in school where a picture is worth 10,000 words, right? So a lot of people say affirmations, which is, repeating I statements out loud, to make you feel different. Like, for example, I am happy, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy. Those are affirmations. People say them in the mirror. People write them down. You see art at Home Goods that has positive affirmations, And the power of the written word, the power of the word is really important. Will be doing a whole episode on the importance of the power of words and how to talk and speak to yourself. But a picture is worth 10,000 words. A picture is worth 10,000 words. Okay. So if you have a visual of you achieving that goal, so imagine whatever goal you have, imagine if you had a visual of you achieving that goal. That is a huge way that we could jump into the reality of our dreams. That being said, I just did a quantum coaching session and visualization was not a part of it. And in some ways, yes, because the way I do affirmations, I believe that they work the best is looking at the mirror. So there is a visual associated with that. So just kidding. There is no way to achieve a goal without a visualization step, a visualization process. Like even at companies, you guys know where I work at Google. We have OKRs, we have written goals, we have charts that show how we're trending towards the goal and the chart that shows what would happen if we achieve the goal. Companies do this, athletes do it. They visualize themselves winning that race. They visualize themselves making that perfect pass, shooting that winning score. Visualization is incredibly important. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing Jim Carrey now and reshare the image. 2nd, replace screen sharing, just change to this. Okay, so we're talking about visualization here. Okay, so that is what visualization is. And why is it important? I already talked about. Okay. So how are you going to incorporate visualization in your life? So there's some common techniques. So with the most common one being vision boarding. So some you may hear towards a new year, people start advertising vision board parties, vision board templates. What is a vision board? Vision boards are something that I have done since 2017. I've consistently made a vision board every year. Sometimes I make multiple vision boards per year because I have I remember the year I got married, we did our own personal vision boards and as well as we did a marriage vision board. So a vision board is essentially a collection of images that you put on typically poster board or bulletin board, and it has images that are of you or of your goals. And I think the reason why I struggled with vision boards in the past is I started by just going to Entrepreneur magazine, cutting out words like success, entrepreneur, and I missed the whole vision part. Like the most powerful part of a vision board is an image. So I challenge you, because I'm sure a lot of you already do vision boards because you listen to this podcast, you obviously care about being successful. But definitely, whenever you're tempted to use a word on a vision board, use an image. Use an image. Use an image. So images can be really hard to find. I started out with magazines, like I shared. Sometimes I have drawn my own vision boards. I didn't realize that was rare, but because I happen to know how to draw, if you're an artist or an illustrator, you have a huge advantage in vision boarding because you can actually draw yourself achieving your goal. So let's for the sake of this, let's say the goal that someone wants to achieve is they want to be promoted at work. So if you were an artist, you could draw yourself a picture of exactly what being promoted at work looks like. So then there's also Pinterest. I actually encourage people who are overwhelmed by the idea of creating a vision board to start with Pinterest. I think that's where a lot of people start. They're like dream wardrobe, dream wedding, dream makeup, things like that. Those were the kinds of boards that I was making when I got on Pinterest. And maybe you never use it that way. And this is my challenge to let you know how to use it, or to use it in a new way to help you achieve your goals. So Pinterest is a source. We already talked about magazines. We talked about drawing your own. And also AI is a great way to generate images. So I have created so many AI manifestation images for myself since I've been able to use AI to create images. So I'm going to change my screen share to my first AI manifestation image, and I'm going to tell you a story about this image. So some of you guys may look at this image. So I have an image of a woman with blonde hair wearing a blue and white Chanel suit, shaking hands with a taller gentleman with a huge crowd of people behind him. And, she's wearing a suit and he is wearing a suit as well. So I created this image. This was one of my first manifestation images. I knew I had just gotten accepted into what was called the marketing AI sprint. I've talked about it in previous episodes. There's an episode I'll link in the show notes, Addy's AI journey, where I got to step away from my position and focus on AI related goals at the company. And part of my title had Next in it and had IO in it. So if you don't know what Next is, it is Google's flagship event for Google Cloud, and IO is Google's flagship event for developers. It's where they make the announcements of all the new features, all the new upgrades, and Next is the same thing but for cloud. So while it was great that I got the opportunity to be part of the AI sprint, I was not guaranteed whatsoever that I was going to be able to go to these events that I was working on. And I said, you know what? It would be so personally embarrassing to me if my title is the AI web strategy lead for Next and IO, and I did not go to Next or IO. I need to manifest this. So I created an image that looked as close to me as possible. You can see my face isn't showing, but you can look at that picture and you can tell that that's me, right? And I think I did a pretty good job of replicating what it would look like to be at Next and IO, and not just at Next and IO shaking hands with one of the senior leaders at the company on stage at Next and IO. So I did actually get to go on stage at IO. I could have shaken a hand, but I didn't. Honestly, it was a limiting belief. I was working a demo and didn't want to be late, but I could have done it. I just chose not to. I was on stage with our chief marketing officer. And she absolutely would have, we took a photo together, right? So I could have shaken her hand if I wanted to, right? So I also took this image and reverse Google searched it and found an outfit from Guess that looks exactly like this suit. And that is the suit that I wore to both Next and IO. I did not care about repeating outfits. I did not care that people were going to see me in the same thing. I was doing everything because I had clearly visualized it with this AI image. I made sure that I looked the part. So that's AI is a great example that we have now of vision boarding. I have some other images that I can share with you guys. So so if you know me, you know I want a G-Wagon, okay? Like I have been manifesting a G-Wagon since I was 20 or since 2018. I've been manifesting a G-Wagon, and I manifested by taking photos of G-Wagons whenever I saw them, and it got to the point that I saw so many G-Wagons that I stopped taking photos of them because I had brought them into my reality. And I got to ride a G-Wagon for the first time because my mother-in-law, who I love, happens to have a G-Wagon. So I still do not own my own G-Wagon, but I have now ridden in a G-Wagon several times because iconic, exactly, Jaso. I have ridden in G-Wagon several times purely by the form of manifestation. If you see the image I'm sharing here, it's me in a G-Wagon riding through Atlanta. And now that I look at the image, I am not in the driver's seat. It does not look like I'm driving that G-Wagon. So for the most part, I have manifested my G-Wagon dream. At this point, I'm questioning if I even actually want to own a G-Wagon because I have not created a visual of me physically driving one, LOL. So that's another example. And the most recent example, I'm going to share this one. This is my current iPhone background. So this is my wife and I on the lawn of our fabulous coastal mansion overlooking the waves. You know, I was so glad to be able to create this image. We look fabulous. We're also lounging in yoga gear. We're, you know, that who does not want that life? So that is these are examples of manifestation photos that I've done that can absolutely go on your vision board. So let me go ahead and reshare. Seeing is believing. Okay, so now you know where to get photos for your vision board. Okay, so you're either going through magazines, you're drawing them yourself, you're using AI to generate them. You're getting them from Pinterest or from the internet and printing them out. I've made many trips to UPS to print out those vision board photos. Another way, I actually specifically bought a book on Amazon, and because I was struggling to find images of Black women doing luxury things, and of course, someone made a book dedicated to that. So you can search for vision board image books on Amazon as well. So those are where you get your images from. All right, so what I would typically do is just take all of these images about my dream life. You know, I'd have my dream home, you know, my dream relationship, my dream career goals, and I would just throw them on the board, and there'd be like 100 photos all together on the board, and like text and writing. But then my wife invited me to this vision board class, and it was my first paid vision board class, but I had such a fabulous time. And the instructor of the class told you to separate the board into 9 squares. So you can imagine there's a row of 3 squares, row of 3 squares, row of 3 squares, and organize your board into sections and different categories. And with a photo of yourself in the middle being the center square. So I should have an image of a 9 by 9 square. I'm gonna pull one up real quick. But anyway, so the categories that she had specifically, okay, here's the perfect image. Let me open this link in another tab. You guys, I'm an expert screen sharer now. Expert screen sharer. So I'm gonna share this tab instead. Okay, so here's a visual. If you're watching, you can see there's 9 squares with the center being an image of yourself. And the categories that she had were health, wealth, career, legacy, education, travel, relationships, family. I think you can use whatever combination makes sense to you. But this was an excellent way to, you know, I'm a creative person and I love collages. They're probably one of my favorite types of art activities, but not everyone's like that, and they need something more structured and organized. And you pick which categories you want to win in, and then put the images in those different squares. Something that I did recently this year implemented was limiting myself to 3 pictures per category. And that really helped me narrow the focus down significantly. I think people encourage you to check things off your vision board as they come true. But once you have a certain amount of images, it's really hard to track what's going on. So that's how I recommend starting with visualization. The important part of visualization, you need to see these visions every day. So I have my vision board on top of, as you know, I have my iPhone. My iPhone wallpaper's sole purpose is manifestation. Like that is the sole purpose of my iPhone wallpaper. That's something I'm going to look at all the time. So I have a manifestation image on it. I use my desktop backgrounds. You guys, it was so embarrassing. I literally for months had this photo, the picture of me in the blue Chanel suit, shaking hands with an executive as my desktop background for months. And I have huge monitors, like all of my coworkers saw this photo of me, but I did not care. And that's why I achieved my goals, right? So it needs to be something you see all the time. For the actual vision board, put it somewhere that you spend a lot of time. I put it right above my bureau. Like I have a vanity where I do my makeup, my hair. I put my vision board right on top of it. It needs to be something you see all the time. Some people put it on their bathroom mirror. I'm too aesthetic for that, but that is an excellent place because when you're brushing your teeth, you're looking at your vision board. You can also take a photo of your vision board and put it on as the background wallpaper on all your devices. It could be the screensaver on your TV, as tech savvy as you are, but create a vision board. We're in Q4 2024. This is the time that I start thinking about my 2025 vision board. Okay, so let's get to the career segment. We are continuing our 15 commitments of conscious leadership. Commitment 11 is sourcing approval, control, and security. I commit to being the source of my approval, control, and security. So, let me stop sharing my screen, you guys. I'm actually going to share the 15 commitments. So let me share that tab. All right, you've seen this before. So we are here. Commitment 11, sourcing approval, control, and security. I commit to being the source of my approval, control, and security. Okay. All right. Sorry for people on YouTube. Okay, you can see me again. All right. So this was probably one of the most powerful commitments for me. This was one of the most powerful commitments for me because I had outsourced my approval. This commitment is all about being your own source of approval. Like, I am the one that says, did I do a good job? I am the one that says, did I look nice today? I am the one that says that I'm a good daughter, I'm a good wife, I'm a good worker, I'm a good coworker, I'm a good friend, I'm an employee. I am not looking to other people to tell me that that is what I am. I need to be the source of my own approval. That sounds delusional, right? It sounds delusional, but what is the alternative? At a certain point, when you put your sense of approval in the hands of someone else, is past school, right? Okay. Everyone needs to get approval from their teacher to get that grade that they want, right? Or you can choose not to and drop out of school and get a GED. But for the most part, everyone cares about our teacher's approval. Everyone cares about our parents' approval, but past childhood, the people that you encounter don't have your best interests in heart. Like the people that you encounter past school, the chances that they're really looking out for your best interest goes down significantly. So I could be doing an amazing job and never get that approval from my teammates or from my manager. Like, that is a reality, and that could be the same for you. Okay. So in order to protect yourself from going insane, you have to commit to being the source of your own approval. Okay. Security, or they talked about control too, but I'm going to skip that one. Security. We have to be the own source of our own security. There is no such thing as job security. We all know that, right? Or if you didn't know it before, you know it now. There's no such thing as security. We have to create it for ourselves. We have loved ones, we have family members, we have social safety nets, we have social nets, but at the end of the day, we need to be secure in ourselves, and we need to stop outsourcing this to other people. This is something I definitely recommend reading the book on. This is something because it's a lot deeper than that. But the most important takeaway for me was that I am my source of approval. I don't need to wait for someone else to tell me that I'm good enough or that I'm doing a good job. I can tell myself that I'm doing a good job, and it's real, and it matters because I matter. Okay. A big reason why I'm even comfortable live streaming on this podcast, which is now a show, which is now on multiple platforms, is because I decided I was good enough. If I had waited for someone to tell me to do this, I would not have this show right now. Everyone that we look up to in the media and music and the arts and TV, even at work, like, they had to decide that they were good enough. They didn't wait for someone to give them permission to do anything. So that is the commitment of the week. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. All right. So get to my favorite part. What am I geeked out about this week, you guys? I am so geeked out about a series that I have coming up starting next week. This series is called the Black Woman Bosses series. So I reached out to the Google community of Black women, which I'm so grateful someone organized that for us, and let people know that I would, if you have a success story that you were inspired, or that is inspiring, or that you're encouraged to share, um, I want you on the podcast. If you have a business to promote, or if you just want to promote yourself, I'm happy to do that in response for you telling your inspiring success story. And I'm so excited about the two women I have lined up starting next week. And I can't wait to meet the other women who have raised their hand. I'm so grateful that people want to come on the show. And I'm so glad to introduce them to this audience that I love so much. So look out for some amazing bosses coming on the podcast soon. It's going to be so inspiring. So definitely subscribe, follow, subscribe to the Substack if you just want everything in your email and don't want to ever miss an episode. Okay. So I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you for another amazing episode. Remember, it's 80. Show the support this episode. Let me know that you are here and watching and listening this episode. I see the stats and I see the numbers, but I want to see the people and your beautiful faces. So let's celebrate 80 episodes together. All right. Have a good one.